And Aaron is looking more organized this morning. Some of the rain bands are starting to approach the coast of North Carolina, but we're already seeing flooding around the Outer Banks. We'll talk about what they'll see going forward and what we'll see here.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, Elizabeth just mentioned the Outer Banks. We're keeping an eye on Highway 12 near the Oregon Inlet. We'll have a live report coming up.
And wedding canceled by Aaron. A couple is pushing back their big day as the hurricane moves up the coast. The story of their last-minute turnaround. We are starting to see dangerous conditions along the Outer Banks as Hurricane Aaron pushes north and tracks parallel to our coast. It will not make landfall, but it will be a high-impact storm. Thanks for joining us. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lemingood. Definitely something to watch for. In fact, aerial video from Rodanthe shows up the big waves creeping up on homes yesterday, and evacuation orders are in effect for people on Hatteras and Ocracoke Islands. Governor Josh Stein declared a state of emergency as the area braces for big storm surges and high winds, too.
We have team coverage this morning on Aaron's impacts. We begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with new information on the storm itself. Elizabeth, this has changed in size and shape.
It really has. The big difference today is it's not drawing in the amount of dry air that it did yesterday. What happened yesterday is it was pulling in dry air on the west side, and so most of the activity was on the east side. It was a little ragged and a bit disorganized looking. It's much more symmetrical. What that means is we're starting to see some of these rain bands sort of filling out this northwest quadrant, and of course that's what's going to affect the coast of North Carolina. Now the rain bands haven't started to move on shore yet, but the storm surge well ahead of the storm has already started to cause some flooding in the Outer Banks. Out ahead of the storm, as it's moving forward, it's pushing the water out ahead of it, and that's what's causing that flooding. Right now it's about 450 miles south of Cape Hatteras, the center of circulation, moving northwest at 13 with 100-mile-per-hour winds. It's Category 2 now, and the biggest impact, the closest it will be to the coast, will be late tonight around 2 a.m. tomorrow morning to 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So that'll be when we see the biggest impacts and some of those rain bands. We take a look at our warning. Of course, gusts up to 50 miles per hour, but it's the storm surge at 2 to 4 feet that's going to be the main thing that causes issues. Of course, high surf as well will cause some damage to the beaches. So what's new this morning is less dry air, making it look more organized, and it may strengthen some as it moves up the coast. We'll talk a little bit more about our coastal impacts coming up, especially along the southern beaches. This morning, you're waking up to cloudy skies like we were yesterday, 70 degrees and still a little muggy. A minimal chance for rain for us today or tomorrow. We are not going to see any of the rain bands from Aaron, but we will see a little sunshine this afternoon. That'll warm us up into the mid-80s.
And Elizabeth, this morning at 6:02, taking a live look at I-40 at Lake Wheeler Road, and things starting to get a little bit busy out there this morning. Thankfully, not seeing any of those outer rain bands from Hurricane Aaron moving into our area. So far, there's a minimal delay for us. In fact, it's just a 1-minute delay on US 1 South coming in from Wake Forest heading into the capital city. That is something that will likely change, as it usually does, as we go throughout the morning. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle on the radio. Tune in to 101.5 HD3.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we're keeping an eye on the Outer Banks. Let's start with the Avon Pier. You can see the waves just coming up this morning. It's you can see the situation that's happening there with Aaron just off the coast. Also keeping an eye on Highway 12. This is the only north-south route there along the Outer Banks. You can see some overwash there that Elizabeth has been talking about all morning. We're going to keep an eye on this here in the WRAL Live Center and keep you posted on how things are going in the Outer Banks.
All right, thank you, Ken. Evacuation orders are in place, and coastal communities are preparing for high winds and flooding from Aaron. Our team is on the ground as the storm moves closer. In fact, WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live on the Outer Banks this morning. Sean, we're starting to see the sun come up this morning. I see someone out there on the beach behind you. Tell me a little bit about what you've seen so far this morning.
Yeah, Chris, the winds are definitely picking up here behind me, and you can see the waves as well. High tide started about 15 minutes ago, so definitely some very rough surf, but nobody in the water. There shouldn't be anybody in the water. There is a mandatory no swimming with the double red flags up, and likely a washout again on Hatteras Island. This was the look last evening with high tide Tuesday. Drone video shot by Jenny Kuhn showing just how strong Hurricane Aaron is. Even though it's so far away, waves thrashing the coast with Hurricane Aaron so far away, already putting Highway 12 at risk of being flooded over, essentially shutting off any access to Hatteras Island. And today and tomorrow will only be worse, but still, few locals are deciding to ride this one out.
It's already very skinny, and when the high tide comes in, it's already washed all the way up to the dune line. In a lot of places, like the vulnerable areas, Buxton, Rodanthe, and Hatters, going into Hatters Village.
There's going to be a lot of erosion every time a big storm comes. A lot of sand is wiped out. It's going to be really bad for Rodanthe and Buxton.
And local officials say every high tide for the next 2 days will likely be worse than the last. So Highway 12 will likely be coming impassable at some point today and tomorrow. And that's really the only way in and out of Hatteras Island. At Jeanette Spear, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News.
It is always a beautiful sunrise right before a hurricane. Later this morning, Governor Josh Stein will provide an update on the state's preparation and guidance for those at the coast. Yesterday, Governor Stein declared a state of emergency due to the dangerous flooding potential for the Outer Banks. WRAL will carry that news conference live at 10:15 a.m. Count on WRAL for team coverage of Hurricane Erin and its impacts. Our team of meteorologists is tracking every movement of the storm. WRAL's Sean Gallagher, Eric Miller, Heidi Kirk, and Liz McLaughlin are there at the coast. They will bring us live reports throughout the day. Now to a story you will see only on WRAL. A couple is heading back home to Massachusetts after Hurricane Erin forced them to press pause on their wedding plans. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live now to tell us how their plans are shifting. Kelsey.
Yes, Renee, this morning that couple is making their way back up the East Coast towards Massachusetts to get back home. They were planning to tie the knot on Monday in Ocracoke, but when they received an evacuation alert on Sunday night, they were forced to change their plans. Here's a look at the almost married couple. This is Amber Beninati and Lucas Petruno. They planned a small ceremony for just 6 people, the 2 of them and their 4 daughters in Ocracoke. But they say they were not even able to make it on the island. They turned what was supposed to be their destination wedding into a family vacation. They visited Nag's Head earlier this week, and today they'll be in Washington, D.C. Even though they're disappointed about the change of plans, the blended family is keeping their sense of humor.
And I was going to be the flower girl. That was going to be exciting for me. And I guess I got another win because now I'm going to be on TV.
That was the bride's daughter, Karina, making her television debut, but she'll still get a shot at being the flower girl. The couple says they have plans to get married at the Outer Banks at some time next year. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
I got to show you this. 4 Wilmington firefighters are recovering from this. Do you see that right there? An explosion that led to a fire. A gas line ruptured, leading to all of this. And this video you're seeing here was captured just moments after investigators say a car drove into a veterinary clinic just before noon yesterday. Wilmington police say the driver veered off the road and hit that gas line, and that person left the scene but was later arrested. People nearby say they heard the explosion from miles away.
The point where the people who were sitting on the booths, it hurt their ears, they said. It had their ears ringing a little bit because of how loud it was.
3 of the 4 firefighters have been discharged from the hospital, but one of them was transported to a burn center.
Police are investigating a deadly motorcycle crash in Fuquay Arena. This was the scene as Sky 5 flew over Coley Farm Road. A truck and motorcycle crashed just before 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The driver of the motorcycle died at the scene. No word on what led to the crash.
A fundraiser is being held tonight in Fuquay Arena for a woman who lost her leg during a boat crash on Harris Lake. Jennifer Staley was injured in the same crash that killed 10-year-old Brooklyn Carroll this month. Abbey Road Tavern and Grill is hosting the fundraiser tonight for Staley, and 20% of the proceeds will be given to her family. The owners of the restaurant say that tragic crash, it just left their community just shook.
She was 10 years old. A lot of people knew her from her elementary school, and a lot of people around here know Miss Steele and the Steele family because she was an active person giving back to the youth in our community.
This event runs from 5 to 8 p.m. tonight.
A longtime Wake County School Board member is resigning. Lindsay Mahaffey did not explain why she's resigning before the board went into its regularly scheduled closed session. But she said she's looking forward to spending more time with her family. Mahaffey was first elected in 2016. She was recently reelected in November to a 4-year term. The board will need to open applications to fill her seat for the next 3.5 years.
The superintendent of North Carolina Schools is launching the state's new strategic plan today. And the State Board of Education approved Superintendent Bo Green's plan this month. There are several key elements to it. That includes increasing community engagement for schools and students, helping schools make career development plans, and expanding teacher recruiting and training. Tonight's celebration will be at Neuse River Middle School in Raleigh, and that starts at 6 o'clock.
The Wake Forest Police Department is celebrating the end of summer and the start of a new school year. The department is hosting two different Too Cool for School events today. At Taylor Street Park, you can hang out with officers at the Sprague Ground, and you can also play basketball at the Joyner Park Community Center. Both events last from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. WRAL has you covered for the start of the new school year. Find out how to transition your kids back into that sleep routine, the rules of the road around school buses, and much more on WRAL.com. Search the words back to school.
UNC football coach Bill Belichick will address the media today as the new season approaches. Belichick and a few players will be speaking today. And the Tar Heels season opener, it's less than a month out. They'll host TCU on Labor Day. And we will have more on what the coach has to say in our evening newscast starting at 4 p.m.
Still ahead, peace negotiations. The White House has confirmed that Putin and Zelensky are planning to meet face to face. How President Trump plans to navigate negotiations to end the war.
And we're waking up to cloudy skies. You can see the gray skies here over North Hills. We're likely to see our winds picking up a bit later today and tomorrow. I'll show you what the gusts will look like coming up.
And Aaron's impacts. The Outer Banks is preparing for overwash to cause flooding along major roadways, which is why we are going to take a look at some of the impacts we're seeing right now.
And here's a look at your Mega Millions numbers. We have 10, 19, 24, 49, 68. The Mega Ball is 10.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
614 is another gray start, very similar to what we saw yesterday. Similar temperatures, too. 71 in Wilson, 70 in Durham, and 72 in Fayetteville. Always interesting to check out the Whirligig Park. Right now, the Whirligigs are spinning fairly lightly. Our wind is about 5 to 10 miles per hour. But later on this evening and into tomorrow, our winds will become somewhat gusty, not enough to cause any damage. But we'll take a closer look at that coming up. Our potential for rain minimal for today and tomorrow. We're not going to actually see any of the rain bands from Aaron in our area, but we have a small chance for some showers both today and tomorrow. Getting outside for exercise, not bad this morning. It'll be a fairly mild afternoon, too. A bit of sunshine peeks out. Highs will make it into the mid to upper 80s.
And Elizabeth, this morning the sun rising over the Outer Banks where you can see some of that overwash there on NC-12 at Buxton. They are just coming out of high tide, entering low tide in a little bit. The next high tide is probably going to be closer to about 6:15 this evening. Back here locally, I-87 at Arundel Avenue, so far so good, although that tends to back up as we get closer to next hour. But all major routes look to be pretty clear for the time being. As you're heading out the door, you can tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we're keeping it in the Outer Banks, giving you a live look at the pier at Rodanthe this morning. You can, as Chris just mentioned, we're just coming out of high tide. The next one was coming in along in just a few hours. You can see the waves coming in this morning. Right now, Rodanthe and Buxton and areas along the Outer Banks have already seen some flooding, but we're going to keep an eye on it here in the WRAL Live Center and keep you posted.
The state has opened a shelter for people evacuating because of Hurricane Aaron. The pet-friendly shelter is at the Warren County Parks and Recreation Building in Warrenton. It's on Wilcox Street. It can hold up to 400 people. Be sure to take any necessities with you for your family and pets. The interactive hurricane tracker on the WRAL weather app and WRAL.com allows you to see a storm's past, present, and future. Zoom in for day-by-day tracks, wind speeds, and directions to see where the worst is likely to hit so you can stay safe.
The White House confirmed Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed to a face-to-face meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And the news is happening after that summit with President Donald Trump, Zelensky, and other European leaders. President Trump is expected to be part of a follow-up meeting with the Russian and Ukrainian leaders. He says he laid out the plan to Putin over the phone.
I told him that we're going to set up a meeting with President Zelensky, and you and he will meet. And then after that meeting, if everything works out, okay, I'll meet and we'll wrap it up.
Now, Trump agreed to help Ukraine with security guarantees as part of a peace deal with Russia, but the White House confirmed U.S. troops would not be sent to Ukraine.
The White House has officially joined TikTok, despite the possibility of a U.S. ban. The official account launched yesterday, quickly picking up more than 60,000 followers. The parent company of TikTok, ByteDance, has until September 17th to find a U.S. buyer, or the app will be banned. President Trump has already delayed the ban 3 times, despite bipartisan concerns over national security. As we track Hurricane Aaron's impacts on the ground, NASA is giving us a look from up above. This is a view of the gigantic Category 2 storm from space. And according to our weather team, satellite estimates show the storm has expanded from 500 miles wide to now 750 miles wide.
Genuinely fascinating to see how Aaron has developed. You know, it intensified at one point. It was kind of weakening in strength there, Elizabeth, and now we see it's expanded in terms of size. But you're watching very closely to see what this could mean for our coastal communities.
Already, we're starting to see some flooding along the Outer Banks. Of course, Chris took a look at what's happening there along Highway 12. Some overwash happened yesterday. We're going to see more of that as we get the storm closer to North Carolina. We haven't even seen any of the outer rain bands pushing on shore yet along the Outer Banks, but that is likely to happen in the next few hours. What's different this morning is the storm is more symmetrical. Yesterday, it was dragging some drier air in, and that made it look a little bit more ragged. Most of the activity was on the east side, and now we're starting to see this northwest quadrant kind of filling back in again, and those are going to be some of the first rain bands that move on shore. So why did we have the flooding yesterday? Well, it's all about storm surge. As this big storm moves across the ocean, it's pushing water out ahead of it, and that's already causing that flooding along the Outer Banks. The center of circulation with 5 o'clock advisory was about 450 miles south of Cape Hatteras. It's moving northwest at 13 with winds at 100 miles per hour. So it's a Category 2 storm. It may remain Category 2 as it moves off the coast of North Carolina. Biggest impacts will be late tonight into early tomorrow. This is 2 a.m. tomorrow. That's 2 p.m. tomorrow. We widen out the view and you can see it just takes off into the Atlantic once we get past Friday. So we're about to move in to the period where we'll have the biggest impacts. The latest look at how wide this is from the far western rain bands to the far eastern rain bands, 750 miles wide. So it's a huge storm. And outside of the path, we're going to see the winds strong all the way out to the coast of North Carolina. Tropical storm force winds will extend about 500 miles across, and then hurricane force winds about 300 miles across. We're not likely to see hurricane force winds along our coast, but we will have some gusts between 40 and 50 miles per hour. We watch the storm moving northward here on our computer model. This is Futurecast from Cape Hatteras to the center of circulation at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning is about 200 miles. We'll definitely have some rain, but only a couple of inches. It's really going to be the storm surge that causes the main flooding and the biggest issues that we'll see across the Outer Banks. Definitely high surf and some strong gusty winds, but it's really that storm surge that'll cause the biggest issues. This is a look at the winds. This is 8 o'clock. Tonight we move it on ahead to tomorrow morning, looking at 35 to 45 mile per hour winds. It's possible that we could see some gusts higher than that, but wind damage is not going to be a big thing. Our southern beaches have seen high rip current danger already. They'll see some gusty winds, but minimal rain. The biggest issue will be along the Outer Banks where we see that 2 to 4 foot storm surge, and we will definitely have some gusty winds and rip current danger. That storm surge warning, of course, in effect right now. So a look at what we could see from Aaron. We could see some breezy conditions, some winds gusting up to 30, 35 miles per hour tonight, but rain isn't likely. Behind the system, it may be a little bit less humid. We take a look at our temperature for today. High of 87, mostly cloudy this morning, and then we'll see some clearing. And then after that, we're looking at our temperatures mainly in the 80s as we get through the rest of the week. So not a bad forecast for us here.
Not at all, especially with the humidity dropping next week. That's going to feel really nice. And hey, really nice out the door so far this morning. I-40 at Rock Quarry Road. Everything seems to be flowing pretty smoothly, especially as we get into the 7 o'clock hour. That's when we start to notice some of those typical backups. But in terms of actual accidents right now, things so far so good. Don't want to jinx that. Just a 1-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest into the capital city. These are the two spots we'll have to watch as we head into that 7 o'clock hour. And no matter the time of morning, if you're heading out the door, you can tune us in on the radio 101.5 HD3 anywhere in the Triangle.
Chris, thank you. Still ahead, Helene aid in limbo. Governor Josh Stein says millions of federal dollars for Western North Carolina is up in the air. How this funding fight is impacting rebuilding efforts.
And picking healthy cereal, it's getting kind of harder to do. 5 on your side explains what a recent study exposes about how the food is being marketed to children.
If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tip to our news team.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Colin Farrell's newest Netflix movie and a prestigious honor for Cynthia Erivo.
Let's take a look at what's trending this morning. Actor Colin Farrell, he's jumping into the world of gambling in his newest thriller. He plays a gambling addict trying to pay back his debts to a casino and Ballad of a Small Player. Actress Tilda Swinton will star alongside him. The movie releases on Netflix in October, and it's being described as a psychological thriller. So very curious to see what the twist is.
Yeah, it's based on a book from 2014, and we are all in. Pushing all the chips in for that one. Cynthia Erivo is adding a new award to her shelf. The Wicked star will be given the Kirk Douglas Award at the Santa Barbara Film Festival. Erivo already has a Tony, Grammy, and Emmy. She has also been nominated for an Oscar. So very big banner year for her. And of course, Wicked Part 2 will be premiering in November.
This close to EGOT status. Let's see if she can get it.
Thousands of pets need you. Clear the Shelters is going on now through August 31st. This Saturday, Orange County Animal Services will have fun and activities for the whole family, plus waived adoption fees for available pets. Lots of wagging tails waiting for you. Visit WRAL.com/shelters to learn more.
And tracking Irwin, it's likely to get closest to the Outer Banks late tonight, early tomorrow, but it's already causing flooding there. Here, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies, but this is not related to Irwin. I'll show you what we will see here over the next couple of days coming up.
And Aaron's impacts, what our team is seeing on the ground at the Outer Banks this morning as that area prepares for flooding.
And change of plans. A couple is pushing back their wedding day as Hurricane Aaron moves off the coast. The story of their last-minute turnaround.